Hi everybody, welcome to Not the Garden. We're actually inside still. Right now it's still middle of April and unfortunately we're still getting snow on the ground. Not every day, but a lot of days. Stan says hi. Hi Stan. So what I'm doing now is we had a little bit of trouble with our peppers and they are not germinating, or at least most of them aren't. My jalapenos did and a couple of my bell peppers did, but unfortunately, the rest of them did not. So I want to start them and get them going as quickly as possible, which means that I'm going to be starting them in paper towels. So that way, whenever I put the seed in the ground, I know it's already germinated, already going, and I'm not wasting any time waiting for it to emerge. So we had a little bit of trouble. The peppers did not germinate the way we had hoped. It's possible that it wasn't warm enough. I don't use a seed starting mat, so I thought the greenhouse would be warm enough, but apparently not. Stan says hi. And I planted a total of 12 seeds, 3 of 4 different varieties. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything to germinate out of those, so I need to get them going as fast as possible so that way I don't waste any more time waiting for things to emerge from soil. So I'm going to make sure that what I'm putting into the soil this time is already germinated and starting. The way I'm going to do that is we're going to put them into paper towels, and I'm going to add a small amount of hydrogen peroxide to the water, and that's going to help to accelerate the germination process. And as soon as they are germinated, which usually is within 3 to 5 days, I'm going to start putting them into soil and taking care of them just like I do all of my other seedlings. That's really just a way to be sure that I'm not going to waste any more time waiting for things to come out of soil that maybe didn't germinate. So what we're going to do is get this started. I've got bags to put the moistened paper towels in. We're going to mark them all. We're going to get them all measured, started, make sure that everything that goes into the soil from this point out is ready to go and that we're not going to have any time wasted. Because it's the middle of April, we really can't waste any more time. The grocery store is not getting any cheaper, and if I can afford to not have to buy peppers, I will. So that's where we're at today. I'm going to get started. First things first, I got to figure out something to do with this hellion because unfortunately he's going to be in the way. I love him. He's very sweet, but boy, does he like to knock things over and get immediately in the middle of anything you're trying to do, like most cats do. All right, Stan, you got to go somewhere, buddy. Come on. So I have a couple of sprayers. The blue one I use just plain water in. So you notice that this time I'm using the green one. The green one is the one that I will add chemicals to, especially fertilizer. That's typically what I use is, liquid fertilizers with this. But in this case, I haven't had any fertilizer in it yet this year, so I'm sure it's nice and clean. And all I'm going to do is take a capful of this hydrogen peroxide. And this is just the same regular kind that you can get at any first aid section at the grocery store. If you have to, you can go to like a pharmacy or something. And it doesn't take a lot, just one capful. And then you're going to go ahead and shake this up good. So that way it's nice and mixed in. And this is what we're going to be moistening our paper towels with as we start to add seeds to them. So make sure that your solution is mixed up and in your spray bottle so you can moisten the paper towel. I'm going to tear off a double here. And we're going to grab one of our peppers. I'm also going to throw some tomatoes down and get some tomatoes going in this as well. There's our peppers. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to decide which one to start. We're going to do this Dragonfly Hybrid Sweet Pepper. This one, I didn't get any germination of any of the plants, unfortunately. Just making absolute sure there's nothing on the paper towel. And there we go, we've got our seeds. And I'm going to go ahead and just moisten the paper towel. This is with that hydrogen peroxide mix. Then I'm going to fold this over, as so. And then again. And one more time. And then this is going to go into a baggie. I'm not using Ziplocs, I'm using just regular sandwich baggies. Reason is because I am going to fold it over and make a small amount of a seal, but I don't necessarily want it to be completely airtight because, you know, I want these to be able to breathe a little bit too, you know. But most important thing at this point is to make sure you mark down what it was. So this was the Dragonfly Hybrid Sweet Pepper. And there's our first package of seeds ready to be germinated and started. You don't need to add anything else. All I need to do is take this and I'm going to end up putting it between these two planters and then into my greenhouse where it's going to get hit with the lights and be in that nice warm environment. You can also use a window. So if you use something like a sunny window, south facing window, you can just make a whole bunch of these, lay them on the window, and wait a few days. And when you open up the paper towel, we're going to have some results here in a little bit, I hope, where I can open it up and show you how the plants have started. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You want to be very careful when you're doing this. This one is the hybrid sweet bell pepper. And I'm going to take a look here and see if I've got any sprouts. If I don't have any sprouts, then I go back into the greenhouse and we try again tomorrow or the next day. Yes, Dan? I don't care how much you complain about it. It's stuff I gotta do. Oh, we're not looking good here. Nope, I've got no germination. It looks like I might be jumping the gun here, which sucks because it's been very bright and warm. Let's try the tomatoes and make sure if they're okay. These don't look like they sprouted yet either. How am I having such bad luck with this year? Every year is different, you know? I mean, yeah, these haven't sprouted yet either. I can see right through the paper towel. So I guess I'm a little early. We're going to have to wait another day or two. Okay, so it's been a couple days, and now we're at the point where we need to take apart our tray, check each of these spots of seedlings, and make sure that everything has sprouted. Hi, Stan. Over here, buddy. So we're going to go ahead and get some of these open, make sure that they've sprouted. And if they have sprouted, then I'm going to go ahead and start planting them into these cups. I'll probably have to change the labels in the cups. These are the ones that didn't germinate before. So I'm going to try to use the same ones. For example, like we got a Mad Hatter here, and this is a sweet bell pepper. So I'm going to try to keep the same ones to there. But if I have to use different cups because I have different seeds that are sprouting, so be it. I'll just change the names. That's why they make markers. So we're going to go ahead and get that started here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart, I guess, this Dragonfly hybrid sweet pepper. I did take a peek earlier, and I'm going to change the camera so it's a little closer. Stan really wants to be involved today. But I do have sprouts out of most of these seeds. So this is after about, what's it been, 5 days? I did check at 3 days, and unfortunately they weren't ready yet. So I did it again at 5 days, and here we are with nice sprouts that are going. So these are ready to go ahead and drop into soil. And I don't think there's anything wrong with these soils. These were all brand new set up for the seeds that we're going to start. I just don't think they got warm enough because, like I said, with peppers, they have to be warm to sprout. And this is one way to trick them to being warm is by putting them into a nice warm window, wrapped in a paper towel that's been moistened. And that's going to give you the heat that's going to make those go ahead and sprout. You could also do something like getting a seed starting tray and perhaps starting with smaller amounts of dirt in your cups. Those are all things I probably should have done, but I've had success in the past. It's just this spring has been pretty cold. So there really hasn't been any time for it to hit the right temperatures for this to go, even sitting in a nice sunny window inside in a mini greenhouse. So I had to do things a little drastically this year. I'm going to move the camera so you can see a little closer as I pull apart this again. And I'm going to drop each seed in. I've got my nail to make holes in the cups. And we're just going to go ahead and get this going. So once again, this was the Dragonfly sweet pepper. And I'm going to bring this a little closer to the camera. Hopefully you can see. These are the little sprouts. You can see the little tiny tails coming off some of these seeds. Most of them anyway. That means they've gone ahead and sprouted. What we're going to do is we're going to take each seed. We're going to make a little hole just like we did before. And we're going to drop a seed in. And you want to drop the tail part down first, if at all possible. That's the root trying to establish. Then I'm going to cover it, and then we're going to go ahead and add the water and get this nice and ready to go, and that seed should grow up into a nice pepper plant pretty quickly. So we're going to set that one aside, and I'm just going to keep on going for the rest of these. So I'm so glad that you came by today and checked us out. We're trying to do different methods to be able to help you be able to be more self-sufficient at home. The grocery store's not getting any cheaper, and we'll all be a little healthier and a little wealthier if we just start making some of our crops at home. So this was how you can start any seeds really in paper towels. In my case, I was using it as a jump start to try to make up some lost time on my peppers. These just probably didn't germinate because they weren't warm enough. I also had some trouble with my cherry tomatoes. I'm not sure exactly why, but that's why you actually saw me do that too in the little fast video. That is because for some reason, maybe they were old seeds. I don't know, but the cherry tomatoes didn't go this year where everything else did. I also did extra San Manzanos because I plan on making a bunch more pots and trays of them. They're really great for sauces. They're my favorite thing to grow. So I just want to have as many of them as possible. Not really sure where I'm going to put them all, but even if I end up putting a few in 5-gallon buckets and bringing, one to my friend's house, one to my mother's house, one to my uncle's house, wherever, just as long as it's somewhere where people make use of it and hopefully enjoy some nice San Marzano tomatoes, either to make some soup with, to make some sauce with, which is what I do, or even using it in their salads or chilies. Any of that is really good. So we're gonna go ahead and close these up for now, and next video will be outside. We already shot a little bit of it. Here's a little snippet here. And so thank you so much for coming by. I'm so glad that we're going to be outside again. The weather's starting to get really nice. It's still April, so it's a little too early to plant a lot outside, but that's where a product like this is going to change that, I hope. So my wife was nice enough to get me these. These are almost like little see-through traffic cones, and they act as mini greenhouses. They even have a vent in the top. So that way you can plant some stuff outside and not be too worried about a late season frost. I was so tired of having a gardening show that's being filmed inside instead of in a garden. But that's something where we didn't have any footage of anything green yet. I'm so glad to finally have some green footage, even if it's just the lawn and whatever was around. So we're doing a lot of cleanup of the property, and we're doing some upkeep onto the fences and planting some new things all around. So we're going to be really excited to start sharing that. We've got some blackberry bushes. I've got one in a bucket ready to go. We're going to be setting up trellising for those. A whole lot of things are going to be in future videos. And for right now, I'm going to be pulling the plastic off and tilling it up and amending the soil so I can get a lot of these in the ground, just because I like to have extra plants, extra seeds. And then these ones will be going inside and getting stronger, while hopefully these will be starting up with the greenhouses, and we'll see what happens. It's a new experiment. Might as well try it. So thank you so much for stopping by today. If you have any questions, please get back to me here. You can leave those down below. At the end of the day, I'm just an idiot with a shovel, but if my experience can help you, I'd love to try. And I hope you check out some of our other videos. We have a narrative video coming up that's a mad scientist short for the monthly movie challenge. That was for the month of April. And then future videos we're going to have released information on. There might even be ways that you can help us either with this show or with the next project. We'll see. But thank you so much. I very much appreciate everything you guys do. You're liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. That's all really helping the channel grow, and it's keeping me going as far as making these videos. And I hope they help you. So I hope everybody's having a great rest of your day here. And thank you so much for stopping by the Rock Garden.